What's happening, tubes? I come to you today because we are going to replace the window regulator motor in my 1998 Chevrolet Silverado. It's been giving me problems now for, well, off and on for the last year, but has progressively gotten worse. So it needed to come out and be replaced because, well, you know, if you get caught in the rain with your window down and you can't get the window back up, well, obviously you're gonna get wet. But hopefully we're gonna fix that today. Now I would roll the window back up to show you guys that, you know, what it's doing, but I got a feeling that if I roll it back up I may not be able to get it back down without having to take apart a bunch of stuff that I don't really want to, and be even more frustration than what it is. So without further ado, this is how we're going to go about it. I'm going to put you guys on a tripod here in a minute, but I just wanted to walk over a few things that you may need or may want to know. This cover right here, it comes off. This switch panel here, it comes off. You've got obviously connectors behind it. This little trim panel right here has got to come off. You've got a couple of screws in here. They are Phillips. You will not have what I have going on here as far as the crossover and whatnot, so you ain't got to worry about that unless you've installed it like myself. And the rest of the door panel is pretty much held on with clips. Yeah, other than that, you should be able to get the panel itself off. Obviously you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver and some sort of a putty knife or a trim removal tool, because if you do not, and this door panel itself has been off before, you're going to see that it's got scratches and whatnot on it. So anyways, like I said, I'm going to put you guys on a tripod and we'll go from there. Okay, the first thing that we're going to start off with is we're going to remove this corner piece here. Just grab a hold of it and pull. And in the end, you know, you will get, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, you'll get that, you know, it's a little clip pin right there, and then the two little ledges that it sits in. So it sits like so and then pushes in. On to the switch panel. Yours may not be as easy as mine. You just take yourself a trim removal tool and you can slide up underneath it and pry it up, and it should come up pretty simple. Now you will need a small flathead or such to help you get out the switches. There is a push pin on two of the three, and one of mine is broke. It can be quite tough to get out. Excuse me. Just be easy with them and try not to break them. I know that can be sometimes easier said than done, but on your switch panel you'll have this one here, that one there, and that one there. And like I said, this one right here on mine was broke, so it just comes right out. And that one you got to push in, and this one you got to push in. Set this to the side. You're gonna need it again in a little while. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this little panel right here off. This is where that flathead would come in handy. You've got to sort of push in some pins, and I'll show you guys when I get it out. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 3 that holds it in. So now I've gotten 2 of them. There we go. And as you see with this here, we've got one here, here, and there. And that one is sort of slightly broke, but I got this out of a junkyard, so. Okay, as far as that goes, you take the wiring and just push it down into the little pocket here. Now, this is the part you guys shouldn't have to worry about because you don't have it. But, so if I can move you guys over just a little bit here. This floor is so damn uneven. Zoom you in a little bit. Rotate you down. If you guys do have a crossover put on and this is how you've done it, well, obviously you put it on, so you should know how to get it off. Mine, I've got Phillips screws that holds the wiring into place. I'm hoping this is the last time I got to go in this door for quite some time now. The very next time that I should have to go in this door will be whenever the truck gets painted. I don't know when that'll be, but you know, that's how she goes sometimes. Okay. Let me zoom you guys back out now. Oh, that was zooming in, wasn't it? Yep. I am not a professional. Move you guys back. Over here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. The next part, obviously, is going to be to take that trim tool and you're going to want to pry around the door to get all the pins out. Actually, I take it back. Let's get you 2 screws at the top first. It'll make things a little bit easier. Now, let's just say if you get ready to take these 2 screws out and you find that the heads on them are dirty and rusted, well, you'll want to get a can of air if you don't have an air compressor, or some soapy water and a toothbrush, an old toothbrush, and just kind of get in there and scrub all the dirt out of it. Or if it's rusted and let's just say you stick the screwdriver in and it's rusted and you get ready to turn it and it doesn't move, well, obviously you've got 2 problems. One, it's probably rusted solid and you're not going to be able to get to it because the screw head is actually enabling the fluid to go underneath, which you may end up having to drill it out. But let's just hope for the best and say that you didn't have to. Okay. Now, you can do this two ways. You can start from the bottom and work your way to the top. Start from the top and work your way to the bottom. It doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to get in here. Like I said, you guys may have a little bit more difficulty than me because I've already had to go in this door quite a few times. I have to look to see where the pins are at. One there, one's there, right there. Door panel is free. And don't mind the tweeter hanging out. That was, I had it zip tied to that window switch because I didn't have anywhere else to put it at the time. I did have it mounted up on this piece up here, but it kind of looked kind of crappy, so I decided to take it off. Okay, now with mine I've got LED bulbs in here. And the bulb wasn't the right size, so the hole from actual light where the bulb would go into had to be walled out a little bit, and the bulb often gets stuck in there, and you have to just unplug the light and come back and deal with the bulb later, like so. Okay, the door panel is free. Just gonna set it right here for the time being. Hopefully it doesn't fall over. And as you see, some of the moisture barrier has already come undone. There's some screws that is missing from mine. Somebody has been in it before. I don't know why. I don't know if they went in it before me. Maybe they had to replace the window motor before. Maybe it's not the original. I don't have a clue. Okay? The only thing that I've had to do in this panel, and like I said, the screws were missing before me, was that you've got a your lock actuator that's actually bolted right here. Well, actually it's riveted in, and the rivets on mine had broken through and pulled through the metal, so I couldn't even lock my door. So I had to take the panel all the way off, get to this, mount it back up with some screws and nuts, or bolts and nuts. But there was supposed to have been, if I'm not mistaken, I think there was a rivet that went right here that is missing. And you've got 4 rivets right here which actually holds the motor itself, or the whole assembly, to that inner panel. Obviously I'm going to have to drill mine out, and the new kit that I bought did not come with any hardware. They just came with the window unit itself, so I'm going to have to go find some hardware for it if I don't have any here. But basically the process is from here is that all the wiring that you see running around and up and over and whatnot, all of it has got to come off for you to get this panel right here off. And if I'm not mistaken, you've got 7, it's between 7 and 10 7mm bolts, and I think 1 10mm. So I'm going to grab all that stuff up and go from there. Okay, so I went and grabbed what I needed as far as the 7mm and a 10mm socket. Just going to start by going around and pulling off all these 7mm bolts. Try your best not to lose any of them, because if you're like me and someone's already missing, well, then that's just more that you'll be missing. Of course, you can go to the junkyard and get the replacement stuff. But if you didn't know what size or what it looked like to go to get from a donor vehicle, then you'll be messed up. I'll tell you what, gnats and mosquitoes serve absolutely no purpose on this planet. Houseflies too, that I think about it. Like I said, this panel's already loose, and I've not even taken out but 5 screws. It's crazy. Get the tweeter out of the way before it gets damaged. I do not want that happening. Yeah, I think there used to be more to this vapor barrier, and a lot of it is missing. I may end up having to order one from LMC. Kind of sucks. I'm just trying to keep what I got right now until I can do better. And I don't think we got any more of the bigger screws. So let's go ahead and take this 10mm out now. Okay. Now, what I remember, got something else holding it. I do. Get off of there. I missed one 7mm. Just one. Right there. Okay. Now, here's the crucial part. See if I can grab you guys up and show you what I'm looking at here. Okay, down in here you've got a rod for that actuator there. So that one's got to be undone. You've got one that goes there. That's got to be undone. And then you can't see it. It's right there. It's got to come undone. You get all those rods and you pull them off. Okay, so as far as now, once you've gotten all the bolts out, all of your rods are going to want to get in the way. So you need to either tape them up or strap them like I did. And then this wire right here goes to your lock actuator. It went behind the metal, so you got to pull it out. And just very carefully go around and pull all the wiring off of the panel, which I'm going to do now. Just be nice and gentle. It really helps if you can get down into the panel itself and sort of assist what you're trying to get out, if you can get to it. And that's also if you can do it without tearing the clips off pieces. Of course, the strap is trying to come undone. Because one little piece of plastic doesn't want to move. Okay, well, I have a solution for that one too. Now, don't be mad about this, but I mean, you guys know as well as I do, zip ties and duct tape and WD-40 is the answer for like all of anything's problems. So if I snip this right here, right now, and cut it, I can always run a zip tie back through that and get that clip off. Yeah? Let's see if we can. I'm trying my best to do all of them without tearing them up, but I mean, some of them are just really aggravating to get to. And you kind of don't have a choice but to go about it the wrong way. So we got that one out. Moving right along here. Trim removal tool does come in handy too. I don't know how good and handy it's going to be for this one here. So, if you use pliers on this one, I guess I just try to push it through as best we can. Like so. Okay, so all of your wiring is free. Kind of would probably be to sneak it through connectors and all, everything. All of the doors wiring needs to go through this hole. Once this out of the way, try to get all the wiring come up. And left a clip. Right here. The rod will try to catch a hold of you and help hold you in. Let's see. The only wire I see left to plug in is the one for the window motor itself. Unclip it, get it out of the way. Last but not least, so that wire is going to the speaker. That's the other thing too. Make sure that you unclip your speaker from the factory wiring. Mine's not connected to the factory wiring. It's a secondary because of the crossover. So, okay. Work that one up like that, and then we should be able to rotate like so. Push that out. And there we have a window regulator mounted to the interior panel on a Chevrolet truck. Set it to the sides for a moment. Just take a gander at all that open space that you don't see. On the newer trucks, like I want to say 2000s series and up, theirs is very similar to this, except it doesn't have the crossbars. It's actually cable driven. So once you undo everything on the door panel itself, you got a bolt at the top and bottom on both sides, and got everything disconnected, of course. The crossbars, well, the bars themselves, the regulator, actually collapses on itself, and then you can pull it out as one unit, slap the new one back in, bolt it back up, and put everything back together, and you're good to go. But on from like 88 to 98, this is what you got to deal with. So, the next step will be for me to take that old window unit, the regulator and everything, and drill the rivets out of it. And I'm not going to show any of that because I don't have enough space to put the camera over there and put it up and whatever. So you guys are just going to have to take my word for it. And of course I'm going to get some kind of grease or something to put in here. And should be smooth sailing from there. Once I get that old regulator off and get the new one put on. Alrighty, we are back at it again. From where I left off, I got the old assembly off and got the new one on. I had to go to Tractor Supply and get some bolts and lock washers and some nuts for this. I've already tested it out. It does work. The difference between this one and the other one is that this one comes with a plug that goes directly into the motor, whereas the old one had just a connector from the door panel that goes to the motor. So you just connect it to this, good to go. The hardest part about this altogether was drilling out the rivets. And once you got all the rivets drilled out and use a punch and a hammer, they'll come right off. And you can slap the new one on. I did, while I was at Tractor Supply, I picked up some liquid wrench white lithium grease. That way I can get a coating inside the rails, not only on the door itself, but on the panel right here. So I'm gonna set you guys back up and we're gonna slap this baby back together. Now pretty much the way this works is the reverse of what you did and you took it all out to begin with. And from what I'm understanding, the hardest part about this here now is getting everything back in track, which I'm hoping is not going to be too difficult. We shall soon see. It looks like the speaker's going to get in the way now because I think the other track was actually bent. So let me get the speaker out and we'll go from there. Alright, let's try again without the speaker in. I didn't think that it would have to be moved, but I guess I was wrong. Come on, baby. Hey. So far, this is starting to become the hardest part. Just trying to get it lined back up just right. Can't exactly get enough room. Alright, there we go. Slide that guy in like so. Get my hand down here. Don't want to go, don't force it. You gotta work. There we go. Whew. All right. Sweat. Sweat, sweat, sweat. Now, get all these wiring harnesses and shit. To snake back through that hole. It's hot out here. Hot. While you're in here, you might as well go ahead and hook up the window. Be one last thing out of the way. There's a lot of wiring. And you wouldn't really think so. If you hear a guy revving up over there, it's because his car is giving him some problems. Personally, I think the alternator is shot, and the only power it's running on is the battery, which usually relates to being the only way it would run is if it keeps, like if you had it on a jump box or something like that. But yeah. Okay. Now, the good old fun part is getting everything clipped back up and in place so it'll be out of the way and it won't be damaged. Yeah, it's hot out here, boys. Hot. And I feel sorry for anybody who's got car problems. Well, it might actually be okay now. Until it dies again, that is. And that's a given, it's going to happen. Cannot outdo the inevitable. Get that guy back in there. So I think I can take this wire. No, that ain't it. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's got to stay right there. Let's see. Guess we can go ahead and attach these rods. Thinking that one probably should have went on top first. This guy, clip in there. This guy, clip in there. Actuator goes through there. I can get to that from here now, so that's not a big deal. We're going to run all the screws back around the panel and we'll come back. Well, we got that panel back in. So that handle, lock actuator, all the wiring. You got the speaker back in. That pretty much sums up the whole job, with the exception of, what have I done with my keys? The problem I've got. Keys. Get ourselves a window switch. Door lock works. Window motor goes up, comes down. And you may want to do this a few times to get the grease that we put in lubricated on the wheels real good. Just making sure it's clean and everything. And that looks pretty good. To save you guys all the trouble of having to watch me put this door panel and stuff back on, I'm gonna pause the video, and once I got the panel and everything back together, start back and we'll wrap it up. Well, there you have it. The panel is back on, everything works, all is well. Just wanted to take the time to say that, you know, when it comes to doing stuff like this here, I'm not saying you have to be scared about it, because you're gonna have some concerns as far as like, oh well, I've never done this before. What am I getting myself into? Is it gonna be hard? Is it gonna be easy? And I mean, I understand that. That makes sense. Of course you'd be a little concerned. Who wouldn't be? The thing about it is that if you look, once you get it done, you'll be feeling proud of yourself. And, you know, there's a few things that I didn't like about it. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. One of those things that I didn't like was that the instructions are very vague when it comes to telling you how to do it. And you might as well just not even have any instructions, because pretty much what they were discussing as far as the instructions, and then the instructions came in like 4 different languages. But I think the instructions should come disclosed per each vehicle. It shouldn't be a generic type of instruction where it tells you what you may or may not run into. So that was the first thing that I didn't like. The second thing I didn't like was that it was supposed to be a OE replacement. Not specifically saying it came from the manufacturer as far as an OEM product. It's just an OE replacement. Like a remanufactured type deal, even though it was brand new. It's made in Taiwan. This truck was built partially in Canada, partially in the US. And I'm sure that there's, miscellaneous bits and pieces that came from different parts of the world, and that's fine. But why does everything have to be made overseas now? I mean, why does it have to be? Is it because we cost too much to build our own stuff here? I mean, Anyway, I don't know. And the only other thing that I made a mistake on, which isn't a real big deal because I'm planning on replacing them with some chrome ones anyway, is this handle right here. When I laid because this handle was attached to the inner panel, I kind of scuffed it up a little bit right there. That's my fault. I can be mad at myself. But I made that mistake so you guys wouldn't have to. But that's pretty much it. There's how you replace the window regulator on a 1998 Chevrolet Silverado K1500 or Sierra. And that covers everything from basically 88 to 98 GMC, Chevrolet, Suburban, Tahoe, Cadillac, Denali, all those body styles and SUVs it covers. It's pretty much identical. Now the only difference between the SUVs and the trucks is that obviously you don't have no rear doors except for when you get into the crew cab. And I'm sure the crew cab, like the 2500 as far as being a crew cab, I'm sure it probably the front door matches the rear. I'd almost would be confident about it, or at least similar. But other than that, that's it. That is all it is to it. You guys have a good weekend. I'm going to go in the house and see if I can get some of this sweat and funk off of me. Y'all have a good July 4th, and we'll be coming back at you with something else real soon that you Impala guys are probably going to like, because I'm sure it's going to help you out. I may even have something coming up with my mom's car, which is a Pontiac. So just stay tuned, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, because I do stuff like this from time to time, and it helps out a lot of people that can't afford to go and pay the big guys to go out and do it. And I show the little guy that they shouldn't have to be scared to do stuff. And this whole setup, the window regulator for this truck from O'Reilly's, we're going to put O'Reilly's in a spot here. It was $117, and that's for the motor and the regulator, all full assembly. It did not come with the core charge. Didn't come with no hardware as far as the bolts. You can go to Tractor Supply and get 1/4-inch bolts and lock washers and nuts and be good to go on that. Trying to think if there's anything else. Well, if there's anything else and you have any questions, please leave them. I'll answer them as soon as I can get them or get to them. That's about it. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, because there's going to be things coming up. You guys have a good weekend. I'm out.